Like, say if you go to a restaurant, you walk up to the restaurant, you're like, I don't really know what they serve, or say they got 8 different types of food, you're like, I don't know what they're good at. That's a bad brand. But say if you walk up and it's like the best this, and it's got a certain look and a certain, you're like, I know what this is, then you can quickly decide, yeah, I like that, or that's actually not for me. Having a clear brand, you're making people's decision of judging a book by its cover easy for them. Which, much as you can say, oh, never judge a book by its cover, well, you have to look at the cover first, because you're not going to read every single book. You don't have time. What are you all about? What do you love? What are your skills? What do you represent? What's your vibe? What are you into? What do you do? What's your outlook? What is it that people should know about you? That they're like, yeah, I like this person. What is it? And then once you know that, right, how can we distill that into one sentence, or into even a name, or like as brief as possible? Like, yeah, I get it.
As the days go by, the more I feel the pain.
We're ready. Hey, let's go. Daniel, my God, the link's been due, bro. The link's been due, man.
Good to see you in person, finally.
It's great to connect, man. This is a living superstar.
Come on, bro. Likewise. We know what time it is.
Is that that's Underdog branded, man.
Of course. Hey, Chinks, my bro. Good to see you.
Likewise, my brother.
Hey, more magic coming.
All right, so the Producer Royalty Podcast is finally back, and we are here today with the first episode of the London chapter of our podcast. This episode, we're with King Wizard, one of the top guys out of London and really in the industry in general at this point. He's worked with Lil Baby, Polo G, Hot Boy, Huncho. Him and his manager, Papa Harvey, who I'll be interviewing in the next episode that we drop, are founders of Underdog Music, which is one of the top management companies in the industry right now for music producers. And we have 4 other exciting interviews that will be coming out within the next 4 weeks as well. But I wanted to start with this one because it's truly one of my favorite conversations I've had in the music industry in general, and we go really deep into the marketing side and content creation side and building a brand side of being a producer, but also touch on some of those things that are a lot more nuanced that you're not going to hear in any other podcast. So it has been a couple months since Producer Royalty has dropped the podcast, so I just want to quickly reintroduce myself and Producer Royalty. My name is Daniel Cruz Hernandez, and I'm the founder of Producer Royalty. Producer Royalty is, for one, the best page to learn about the business side of being a producer. So if you want to learn about the legal and management side and all the business that goes into actually landing a placement and how to collect your money, this will be the best page, and probably already is the best page to learn about that, as well as our Instagram as well. But Producer Royalty is also a debt collector for producers. So we specialize in helping producers get paid for their placements. We help them track down their advances, their master royalties, their publishing royalties, their sound exchange royalties, their neighboring rights royalties, synchronization royalties, sync fees, or whatever money that they might be owed. We help producers get paid for that. We even audit certain management companies and labels to make sure that they're getting paid what they owed. We started Producer Royalty about 1.5 years ago now, and it is taken off insanely fast. We've represented over 100 producers with their placements at this point, helping with artists such as Drake, Nicki Minaj, Lil Baby, NBA Youngboy, and so many as well. And on the podcast side, I started this podcast as a way to sort of get more clients for our business, but I really was motivated by attorneys like Adam Friedman and Carl Folks, who wanted to build a content brand around their law firm and educate producers and really share the information that's very hard to find. So it's my personal mission to share as much information as I can with the community that you're not going to hear other people on the legal and management side talk about. So that's what this podcast is about. And so I just graduated law school, and as soon as I pass the bar exam, we're going to be launching the first producer specializing law firm, the first ever. That is all we're going to focus on, is representing producers. Currently, I'm shooting this in Bali, Indonesia. I just graduated law school, and I decided to move across the entire world just to focus on studying for my exam. And I decided to stop in London to get some episodes of the podcast out for you guys. So before we get to the episode, I just want to say one more thing. If you watched the last episode of the podcast that we dropped with DJ FMCT, who is a producer signed to Lil Durk, I mentioned that we're going to be launching Producer Placement University, which will be the first program designed to teach producers everything that they need to know after they get the placement. All the business that comes after actually getting that text that you got a placement, there's a lot that goes into it, and there's nowhere that's comprehensive that explains how to do it. I learned from working at law firms, and then I learned from actually starting a company that does this, and now it's all that we do. So I've learned a lot, and I want to share all this information with you guys. In the last episode, I mentioned that we're going to be launching that program in about a month from when that launched, and that wound up not happening. I wound up being way too busy wrapping up my law degree that I couldn't finish the program in time, but we are still launching that. I'm about 80% done with it, and it's currently about 8 hours worth of material that you're not going to hear anywhere else, that really digs deep into the business side of being a producer. So I'm going to be talking about it a lot in the next few episodes, but I briefly just wanted to apologize and say, if you're interested in joining Producer Placement University, I'm putting a link below to sign up for the waitlist. That's going to be launching in sometime in around August. It should be done. So if you're interested in that, please join the waitlist. And now let's get to the episode with King Wizard. All right, so the Producer Royalty Podcast is back, and we are now on the London chapter. This is the first episode I'm gonna drop, and I'm with none other but King Wizard.
Hey, my man,
Bro.
we got a lot of royalty. We've got too much.
A lot of
royalty.
royalty. I
in the house
know,
today,
that's perfect.
You're going crazy.
I know. So I didn't hit me that I was in London until I saw you in Harvey. Bro. Like I did all the London stuff, but then I saw, like, when I think of London, I think of you guys. So,
Man,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
When I think of London, I think of On the Track, you know. But then after that, we think of the city, you know.
Yeah, I'm dead. So you and from the moment you walked in, you just have this such powerful, fun, loving, caring, like you love what you do, energy.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, like
Man, we're producing life right now. We're producing today. We're producing this interview. We're producing this chat. Producing this energy. Like, that's production, man. We're all producers. You know?
Where did this and that makes perfect sense. And I've never heard anybody articulate it like that before. Is that just like in you, like this like energy and passion that you have? Is this something that like you just found a way to unleash to the world, or is it kind of like, you know?
Man,
are
I've
you
never really been asked that. I mean, I think I was quite shy when I was a kid, you know, and I've just done a process of. This is kind of off topic, maybe, but I've done a process of doing mad shit, putting myself in mad situations, putting myself even occasionally in like dangerous situations, or just whatever. Fuck it, live once, just do some shit, go to different countries, travel, meditate, get really good at a certain skill, and then you can have confidence in that skill, and like just a whole process. And now I feel like I'll talk to anyone at this point, and also, this one thing I always think, which again is probably weird for most people, I always remind myself, I always think about death in a very positive way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, this could go wrong with that. It's like, no, we'll be dead. Don't worry, we'll be dust in like a few years. So whatever you're worrying about it, forget about it, because you're about to be dust. So let's do some fire shit and have some good energy for this brief window of opportunity that we have right now.
You said you used to be kind of shy as a kid.
Yeah.
Now you are as far from shy as it gets. I mean, I know like that, like a lot of producers, they are that kind of shy personality, and they find a way, they struggle to kind of break through that. Like, was there like a turning point for you that it was like, all right, like, did you realize that it served you not to just be the most expressive version of yourself, or?
It's an ongoing process,
Yeah.
Like, we've all got the ability to go in our shell and hide our light from the world, and we've all got the ability to withhold our gifts, withhold our energy, withhold our talent, and that's cool, but I'd rather let it out. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I'll do my best.
For sure.
Still working on it.
And it serves you so well. Like I said, when I think of London, I think of you. It's because like you just developed this brand of like somebody that it's just so distinguishable. Like, for you, was it very like, this King Wizard, it's a look, it's like it's a feeling, you know what I mean? Was that something that you were deliberate about, like, kind of creating? Like, was there literally like a drawing board? How can I create this kind of character, or was this like, where did it come from, I guess?
It's kind of ongoing. It's an ongoing process. I became Wizard a very long time ago. Like, one of my friends was just calling me Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, just bringing the magic, and I had probably even longer beard at that point.
Yeah.
So I just I'll run with that. I'll just be known as Wizard.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was going out with one of my good friends a few years ago, and he was like, man, he's like, you can't be Wizard. Like, you fucking got to be the King Wizard. You got to come with that energy, King Wizard. I'm like, yeah, I fuck with that. I'll take that, King Wizard. So I'm like, King Wizard, you got to get the crown. Makes sense. And then, brand, I feel like, for me, it's quite organic, but it's not something I'm unaware of. I'm like, I want to walk in the room, and even if I've not met people, maybe they've seen a content or not, but either way, that at least some people are like, oh, it's King Wizard.
For sure. I love how you say it's a continuous process, because I think a lot of people might start with the drawing board. What do I want to be? They draw that all out, and then they just try to, work towards becoming that. Instead of looking at it as kind of like an ongoing process, it's just like, if you're out there having fun every day and you do something and you're expressing yourself in new ways, you see what works with people or what you enjoy, then you can lean into that more and more. You know what I mean? Maybe you have a saying, you're always trying new things, you're out of your shell, you're always expressing things. And I say something to Harvey and I see he's reactive. Now I might start delivering that more. You know what I mean? So it is ongoing in that way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're either progressing or decaying. You're not staying still. So if you think you're staying still, unfortunately, it means you're decaying. So you got to keep moving forward. I don't want to be, if I meet someone, they're like, oh, you've changed. Great. Best compliment I could get.
I'm big on that.
Like, I ain't trying to stay here. I'm trying to be more magnificent. I want to look at myself in a few years and be like, fuck yeah, I like that guy. So let's be active participant in that process and make it happen, you know?
Yeah, I like to say I'm sprinting towards the future version of
Hell yeah,
myself.
I know,
I'm
I
always
see
trying-
it.
Yeah.
I see it. You're already there, bro. You know, it's just all the bricks have to line up around you. You know, you already got the house there. It's just the bricks are falling in. You know.
Thank you, bro. I love this conversation about brand because you know it's hard to talk about with a lot of producers because they don't really know what to do. But like you've just found a way to just like everything we've been saying. So do you have any with producers who are just starting? You work with producers from the beginning. How do you kind of work with them to kind of build the brand? Like, do you have any tips or anything that you lean into?
Pretty in depth. Like you want people to kind of you want to be easily understood. You don't want to be super mysterious. Like, say if you go to a restaurant, you walk up to the restaurant, you're like, I don't really know what they serve, or like, say they got 8 different types of food, you're like, I don't know what they're good at, don't know what they do, I don't know who they are. Right, that's a bad brand. But say if you walk up and it's like, got the best this, and it's got a certain look and a certain, you're like, I know what this is, then you can quickly decide, yeah, I like that, or that's actually not for me. So that's why I think having a clear brand, you're making people's decision of judging a book by its cover easy for them. Which, much as you can say, oh, never judge a book by its cover, well, you have to look at the cover first, because you're not going to read every single book. You don't have time. So they are going to judge by the cover. So that's what it is. So make sure you're just aware of what's on that cover and that it's actually reflecting the book. So not the wrong people are buying the book who don't like it, and that the people who do like what you're about and what you stand for can kind of get a hint of it, so they can say, yeah, I want to work with this person, or I want to lock in with this person, or
you know, you're using the word, or you said it a couple times, being aware of like what you're putting out there. So I guess if you're working with somebody new, do you help them kind of find, like, are you maybe you're active observant of them, and maybe you point out things about them that you like about them, or what they could lean into more? Like,
for sure, we'll have a lot of conversations about what are you all about, what do you love, what are your skills, what do you represent, what should people know about you, what's your vibe, what are you into, what do you do, what's your outlook, what is it that people should know about you, that they're like, yeah, I like this person, I fuck with them, what is it? And then once you know that, you right, how can we distill that into one sentence, or into even a name, or like as brief as possible, like, yeah, I get it.
And I think that makes perfect sense. But when I think of producers, I picture most producers really struggling with that. So like, if somebody were to ask you those types of questions, what are some answers that you would give, maybe for reference, like for other people to consider?
Man, I like to make magic. I like to make today a special day, an event. I don't like today to just be one of the washer days. I like today to be what's the date? Whatever the date is. This is the one shot today. Yeah. We don't get no replays. We get another chance tomorrow, but that's tomorrow. That's not today. We get one shot at today. So I want to make that magic today. So it's Wizard. And it's King Wizard because I never even thought this before. But I'm just talking shit, really.
You're not talking shit because I feel it.
It's King Wizard because I'm the king of my own fucking life. And I'm the king of my own movie. And as we all should be, as we all are, the king or the queen of what our vision. So I'm in control, and we're going to make some magic for me. And each person for themselves, same thing. That's what I'm kind of, trying to represent. And then creativity, just this, like, I like producing a lot of times one take, just try and tap into the magic and just, roll with it. Whilst, again, still being aware, say that word again, like, not being off with the fairies, but still just bring that energy on the day, It's
a beautiful response because everything that you said, most of what you said didn't actually have to do with music directly, but like the music is all, it makes sense that it's an offspring of like a lot of things that you said too at the same time. So
for sure, music is an offspring. Music is a form of communication that kind of taps into so many different things. Like it taps into your biology, your heartbeat, that's your sense of rhythm, and your perception of time, that's rhythm. Harmony, that's because, say if you bang a metal rod, it produces one vibration and then another vibration that's each half, and then another vibration that's in thirds, and that produces chords. So it's just nature, and then we use that, we manipulate that with whatever soul we have inside to communicate what we most want to say and what we feel, and then by some crazy method, when you hear it, it's like you're kind of psychically imported into that person's brain. You can feel what they felt. If it's hyped, if it's sad. Like, so music, it can't exist in a vacuum. Music by itself is nothing. it has to come from somewhere. There has to be some energy or some, there has to be something behind it. So if you start with the music, you kind of start, if you just start by putting a clap, that's not it. Like, you got to start from, start with the magic.
And from you're an all-around creative. Like, and I feel like there's a lot of producers that they make decent music, but like they just don't seem like they have that layers to their creativity, or that are beyond maybe just putting some drums on a beat, or you know what I mean. So for you, like, what are some things that you do to kind of create yourself as a creative, like define yourself as a creative, besides actually maybe playing instruments?
Well, I mean, as I understand it, I'd say most producers, they do have that. There's just maybe some are maybe accessing it more than others, and maybe using it a bit more.
Yeah.
It's the word genius. It's like an ancient word, and it means like it's a genius. I'm gonna get this not completely accurate again, but a genius is basically something that kind of whispers in your ear. It's not like you're a genius. It's not in the modern sense. The original meaning of that word is like, it's like almost like you're a spirit, or it's like,
I can picture what you mean.
Yeah. It's like, whatever. I can't remember the exact definition. It's like an angel, like whispers in your ear.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, genius is like, it's like your best, most creative self. So everyone contains their own genius. Everyone just has to kind of utilize that.
Okay.
So it's in there.
So what are some things that you do, I guess, to really help yourself find that or tap into it? You know what I mean?
Skills helps.
Skills.
Yeah. If you got, well, let's say this. Let's say you're the most creative person on the earth and you don't really know what you're doing. You're not going to make a good beat. Or let's say you're the most intelligent, logical person, but you don't know anything about law. How are you going to be a good lawyer?
Yeah.
So, yes, talent, yes, energy, also skill.
Yeah.
So study the greats, study the game, learn what you're doing. And if you don't have the skill, you can't transfer it into reality. So it's all good having a vision, but have the skill to make your vision real as well.
And when I watch your content, you put this energy and passion into it. Like, you could just feel how much you love what you're doing. But of course, being able to execute those feelings and creating them, I guess that's the skill part that you're talking about, right? Like, you're executing and that's what gives you this, like, so much passion to have fun with it, is the fact that you're able to create it, I guess, right? Like,
man, that moment is like years in the making to do something for 30 seconds on a high level. Same like in sport. I always think that, like, let's say, who loves whatever, soccer, who loves it more? The guy who's out there at 6 a.m. training, taking free kick after free kick, even if it's raining and they feel terrible and they don't want to be there. Or the person who goes out twice a week and has the best time of their life and they're running about laughing and kicking. Which one loves it more? Yeah. I would say the one who's there when he doesn't want to be there loves it more. The other guy enjoys it more because he's having fun. But the one who's just there, like, pushing, that's love. Because it doesn't matter. Same, like, I'm going to put them years in. I don't care if I get no results or nothing. Like, that's love. And then you get that moment of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Of actually, like, you can perform at a high level because you put that in.
Yeah.
But that's just like the cherry on top of the iceberg. Like, the iceberg is all down there of, like, putting blood and sweat in as well, that's part of it. It's not just like, ooh, magic, ooh. Like, no, you put the work in as well.
Yeah. Your performance ability is just insane. Like, the way you were able to translate those feelings. You feel like your ability to really perform, like to have like a real presence, like while you're actually playing the music, it contributes a lot to your success. People wanting to work with you, maybe energy in the studio, things like that.
I think so. Yeah. I think it contributes a lot to the music as well. Yeah, you got to put it in.
Yeah.
You get out what you put in.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you feel like one of your biggest advantages as a creative, or maybe just in the business, like was something that like about you that like has allowed you to find success really quickly? Because it is pretty quickly that you blew up, like, right?
Man,
would you say so?
Pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. Relatively speaking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we went from like nothing to getting some pretty good records in like, really barely any time at all. But kind of already put in years of learning skills at that point though. Even though I'm more putting a lot of time like as playing live and that kind of thing. But once we really started attacking the production thing, it was pretty quick. Yeah. I say advantage, obviously having put in the work in, skills, and also just work rate as well. Like just working like just consistently 18-hour days, no days off.
For real?
For at least about 18 months.
Yeah.
Just every day. No sleep, no rest, no watching TV, nothing. Just working like mad. Like, that shit works. You know, sometimes like I don't know, people try and is there a shortcut or is it just put the work in? Like put the work in. You can't fake it. There's no faking the work. People know if you did it or not because they'll see. You know, you can't fool yourself or anyone else. Put the work in, you get the result.
What's so dope about you and Harvey's relationship is like during that time where you because there was a time where you guys, could you speak a little bit? You spoke about it briefly where you're like the time period where you committed and you're like, all right, this is what we're doing, and then I got a follow-up question after that.
Man, well, that's exactly what we did, really. Just said, right, you know, we're doing this. This is it. We're going to get some big records. You know, we've got all the ability. We've got everything we need.
That was your goal specifically, was the records? Like, I want to get, like, big records in particular. Like, or kind of what was, like, I guess, or to make a living off of it, maybe? What was it, like?
Let me think. What were we thinking back then? What were we thinking? We're just trying to take over, man. You know?
Yeah.
Just trying to have that takeover energy, like.
Yeah. I'm pretty big on setting like a horizon goal instead of a North Star, where it's like you're approaching, like it's a little fuzzy. You're walking towards it, but it's not like a specific thing. So when I want a central C placement, then you get that, then it's like, okay, then you might, like, you know, gold medal syndrome. Like when people get the gold medalists get the gold medal, they get depressed afterwards. So like you say, you want to take over, it's just kind of like maybe it was just a feeling. You know what I mean?
I know what we said then. Actually, we were like just gonna get cuts. Like we need to get loads of cuts.
Yeah.
And like cuts and cuts, not just like, try and get a placement. We didn't really have nothing. So like, just like, we're gonna get a bunch of different records. That was it.
Yeah.
But then like, let's get some big cuts. That's simple as.
Yeah.
And then I remember the first time when I saw this Money Man snippet, and I was like, and he just bought some big new chain, like some big pendants, big spinning pendant. And I'm hearing that the song he's got over the background, just a little snippet. I'm like, shit, that's something I just played in that bedroom over there. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, look at that. Like, wow, it's this big rapper, saw these diamonds and like playing this guitar that I just recorded over there on some like cheap, like $100 interface. Or like this is fire.
Yeah.
And, like, other guitar as well.
Yeah.
Terrible guitar.
What were you doing at the time? Like to start from, you know, because what I was gonna say before is like what I love about your relationship with Harvey was like you're the music genius, and like a lot of music genius don't know how to get the music out there. So you had a partner that was dedicated to like helping you really build the relationships and brand and get the business right after the music is placed and all that type of stuff. So that's a beautiful thing that you were able to, you know. But I guess you do seem like somebody that's also very focused on the business as well too.
Very much.
Yeah, very much so.
He knows a lot about music as well. You know?
Yeah, and he knows a lot
He's got
about
a great
music
ear.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, we both, you know, got some.
Really feed off of each other.
Yeah, got some good skills. I mean, I feel like the most important thing is that if you got people around who you got their back, they got your back. That's a winning combo. It doesn't matter what field you're in. If you're around people and there's no hint of like no snaky or I could get an advantage or like no, it's like this the team, like we're going forward. When you got that, that's bigger advantage than anything, you know. You know, we're never both gonna have an off day at the same time. It's not gonna happen. No.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like tired or whatever, the other one's on it, and you know we can just attack, just feed off the energy, good ideas.
Yeah.
Right, let's try
Hold
this.
each other
Let's try
accountable.
that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
you
put
guys
the foot on the
set
accelerator.
big goals. I love it. Like do you want to talk about, you know, what you're building with Underdog Music and everything like that?
Man, it's like sometimes I'd rather just do it and then let people say, oh, that's what they were doing, you know?
Yeah.
But whatever you think we're trying to do something bigger than that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like, ambition is like, it's not a dirty word, it's a beautiful word, you know? Like, we're trying to make the maximum magic in this world, whether that's business-wise, whether that's feeding people's families, whether that's making fire records, whether that's, whatever that is, we're trying to build something special and just keep building and building. So we've got some big goals. I'll show you my lock screen.
Let's go.
For a little hint.
I love that you use the word magic so much too. I'm gonna start incorporating that more.
Man, I think it started as like a branding or something, but now it's just.
But I mean,
it's just is what it is. There's one of our goals that's always there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys? Oh, you're gonna show the camera. Let's go.
Why not? There you go. There you go. The four majors right there.
Yeah. Do you know when you're scaling to something that big? Like I'm sure that you started with it through the love of music. Like you're gonna through that process, you know, do you worry that you're gonna like lose sight of like why you started, maybe like when you're building this big conglomerate enterprise?
Yeah, I hope I lose sight of why I started, because like we're meant to progress and grow and get bigger and bigger. But I'm not going to lose my passion for music and creativity. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless someone put a bullet in my head. That's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But time-wise, I guess, right? Like, I mean, you can only build so much at a time, I guess, is kind of what...
You can build teams.
Yeah.
Some of the people... Yeah, you can build a structure. To me, creativity is not a limited, bounded thing. Like, I can only be creative playing the piano. I can only be creative making a beat. I can only be creative making a song. You could make anything. It's all a form of creativity. This conversation right here, we're being creative because no one give us a script.
Yep.
We're just saying what we say, and hopefully something good comes out or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a creative exercise. So to me, building a business or building a structure or building a team or, you know, helping someone else to massively progress their career, that's creative. We're creating on this earth. We're creating the reality we want to see, whether that's a reality with art that we've made, or whether that's a reality with good business practices and people doing fair business and good culture and people dealing well with each other. Whatever it is that we're trying to create, we can creative, and we can create it, and it's all creativity. It's all part of it.
Yeah, damn. So what, like, you guys are so collaborative, and you always talk about the value of collaborating. I have a bunch of questions on that, but one thing, since we're talking about like, you know, building a brand in a big conglomerate enterprise, like, when you think about your team or people who are instrumental in what you're building, like, who do you think about besides Harvey?
Man, whoever we're working with, it's because they're dope. You know, we're not trying to just get tons of random people involved. Like, you know, we're trying to lock in with whoever's dope. So yeah, whoever we're locked in with, especially if
producers, you think of mostly, like, for the most part, are there people maybe that are helping you on the business side, or it's
of course,
like, you know,
producers, whether it's like different, you know, people assisting with different stuff. Obviously, on legal side.
Who's your lawyer? You mind me asking?
Well, obviously we work in the UK and US, so it kind of depends.
It depends on who you work with.
Yeah,
okay,
of course.
Yeah.
And
so
we've got
UK
different clients with different lawyers as well.
Yeah. So then you work with their lawyer.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, US wise, done a lot with you know, John C.
Mm-hmm.
Done most of my records.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, depending on the project, and also certain times, let's say if you've got multiple people on the same record, you might not need 5 lawyers to read one contract.
I'm glad that you bring that up, because that's not talked about ever on the internet. I've never seen anybody talk about it. But yeah, like if you're in the placement process, you don't. A lot of times they put all the producers on one contract, and if there's only one contract, then you don't need to all have your lawyers look at it. You could. I mean, if you don't know this producer's lawyer, then you might want to have your lawyer do it. But
of course,
you don't have to.
Or if they're not going to send you, you're not going to get a copy of exactly what their terms are. And you know, if you have to do everything separately, that's cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's people you work tightly with and you're getting the same terms or whatever, then you don't need 5 people to all say, yep, that's standard. And then you pay all of them, and then where's the advance all gone? So it don't make sense sometimes, you know.
No, 1,000,000% for sure. And I wanted to ask you about when you're coming up, you were paying for collabs, right? And there's a big stigma on paying for collabs, but the way you guys talk about it in your content and like how much instrumental it was for you, like, could you speak about your process or what it was like paying for collabs on the way up?
Well, when we started, we had, like I said, no contacts really. We didn't know what the hell we were doing either. So we're really just fumbling about. All we had is like, for absolutely no logical reason, we're going to do it. It's going to work. That's all we had. So we're like, well, how do we do it? It's like, well, kind of need to be in touch with people who've done it to learn how they did it, to figure it out. So like, right, well, just going through Instagram, like, this person got this record, and like, I feel like we thought as well, if you got one placement with like a decent artist, that means you've probably made it, or like, we didn't know anything. So, but anyway, looking through, we're like, how can we get in touch with different people? Or I always think, for networking, for life in general, offer value. Don't come in as a vampire. Help me. Cool, if you have to, yeah, right. But for me, I'll rather offer some value, and they're more likely to respond than saying, please, I don't know what I'm doing. And you're not going to get that many necessarily responses. So instead of that, I'll say, despite that we didn't have like tons of money sitting there, so this is what we used to do. We'd just go sell some beats, whatever, and then say, right, I've got this money, now let's spend it out again on getting this person to collab, but really we're kind of getting some advice and we're chopping it up as well. And like, it's not just
in person
like
or online or both.
online maybe on the phone,
yeah,
or maybe just texting or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I say, so we did it. But like, oh, what do you think of these? And then certain. I mean, it's funny. One of the people who helped out the most is I'm not gonna name the name, but we paid someone pretty big producer. We paid for some collabs, and we were just chatting to them on voice notes, and I sent these melodies, and they were like, these are trash. Like, I don't want to use any of these. Like, it needs to be better. Like, I'm working with the best people in the world. Like, I can't use this shit. And I'm like, fair enough. I'm like, shit. Like, a lot of people would be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
But no, we're like, okay, right. Let me like reference a bit more and try and make some good shit. So we did that, sent it back. He's like, yeah, these are hard, I'll use it. He never actually did them.
You never
He never did it. But this is the best. So this one of the best purchases I've made was collabs that the guy never did. But just by him saying this is trash, I don't want to use it.
For real?
That one little sentence made me change my whole attitude, and that's when I put in my. I remember I changed my Instagram bio. I was like, best melodies in the game. I was like, I'm not gonna have no one say to me that this was trash ever again. I'm gonna fucking make sure I've got the best shit.
Yeah.
And then that was a key thing. So even though they didn't even do what we paid them to do, it was actually one of the most helpful things we did.
Interesting. So what do you feel like is a good strategy to approach paying for collabs, would you say? Because a lot of producers pay so they use the loop. But it seems like the best thing that you've gotten was specific advice, maybe to your beats, or maybe just some feedback that is trash. You know what I mean? So
I would always say if you're going to buy a collab, don't do it because you think that you're going to pay for 3 collabs and one of them is going to turn into a big record and then you can retire or whatever you think. That doesn't work like that. That's not what it's going to be. But if you're doing it just so you can kind of get in with someone, or it's just an excuse to get in someone's radar, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like, hopefully you're not paying an absurd amount for it either. I'll tell you what, I can tell you a little exclusive story if you want.
Let's go. Yes.
So we just had this record out last week, obviously with Shyness and Anita. You know, much love to London on the track, Waka, for hooking it up. Now, this melody I made with our guy Kuji, who's obviously been absolutely smashing it. I made this with him probably over 3 years ago. It's the first, or just about 3 years ago. It's the first thing we ever worked on together was this exact melody. And the funny thing is, it was actually a paid collab. It's the first time we ever locked in. He paid for some collabs. I was like, this guy's fire. Like, we got to lock in with him and build. So, I mean, so firstly, paid collab worked out for him because he's got a ton of big records and a ton more coming. But also, that paid collab actually got placed. It was like a major record with 2 huge artists on. So if anyone thinks that a paid collab has never got placed, this one got placed. So there's one paid collab. But to be fair, that's the only paid collab I've ever heard of being like a big record is that.
Yeah.
So it's a rare thing, but there you go.
Yeah. So I guess what should a producer be thinking about if they're reaching out to a producer paid collab? Should they look for producers that are offering it explicitly, or should they just kind of come out and just maybe give a price like, hey, I'll give you $200 if you listen to my music, or if you use, like, what do you feel like is the best way? If you were a producer, you had one opportunity to do a paid collab, how would you approach it?
Well, I know the game's pretty changed a bit. I don't really know what the landscape is in terms of paid collabs. I feel like maybe they were more of a thing.
It seems like it, but I wasn't really around, but it seems like that's what people say.
I'll tell you what we used to do. We'd just hit people up that if we thought they were dope and say, hey, I love your stuff. I'd love to pay you for a collab. What could we do? That's it. Simple as that. Simple as that. And like sometimes certain people would just lock in as well. Certain people would be like, send something, and then certain people they'd quote a price. We're like, that's reasonable. Let's
what do you feel like a reasonable price is? Of course, it depends on the producer, but
it could be anything. Yeah. But I would say this: I wouldn't pay like racks for a collab, even if it's with someone huge, because it just doesn't make sense. If you're paying for a lot of money for someone who's massive in the game, and they're getting tens of grand per advance anyway, and like, why would they even do it? I don't know. I wouldn't spend that much.
Is there any, because you talk about, offering or giving value to whoever that you're working with, is there anything else that you could think of besides money that would be of value, I guess? Another way to approach it? Good
energy.
Good energy, yeah.
There's all sorts of things. I mean, in certain you know, if you read certain self-help books, they'll say, oh, offer to mow someone's lawn, or like, you know, all these weird like, old self-help things. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, cool. You could think of ways to offer value. You can be creative. It's again another creative thing. How can you offer value? So you can always think about that. But yeah, one good if you're a good chat and you're like not, you're kind of good energy and even you're persistent without being completely annoying and aggravating, but you've got good persistence.
Yeah.
You know, then that's a dope. You're kind of offering value anyway. You're putting good energy in the room and like you're not there like sucking the energy. You're just there like cool. Then people like being around that anyway.
Yep.
I always respect that. It's a big shame that Instagram changed where you can't keep you can only send one message request.
Oh yeah.
That's a massive thing, you know, because like
especially
even
producers, I never really thought about that.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, but I think you had to turn it on because certain people you can't.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I cold outreach to people sometimes, and it's not everybody. But,
oh okay.
Yeah.
Fire. Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me reinvestigate that. But for me, even in my own DMs, like DM requests, sometimes I love to reply to everyone, but not always gonna happen. Like I'm in a session running around, and it's 5 a.m. I'm not there sitting there on my phone when I'm trying to run the session.
Yeah.
But at the same time, say if someone messaged 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, I'm like, I respect it. I want to reply now. Like I'm like, I can't ignore that. They're persistently hitting up. Like I'm gonna actually reply.
Yeah.
I actually like it. So I'm like, yeah, that's that hustle. Come on then. Let's see what's happening.
I hope a lot of people are like that, but I don't know if they are.
Can't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Get shot down.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot and get shot down. Then get up again.
So aside from paid collabs, what were some other things that you guys reinvested in that you felt like were worth your, the reinvestment?
Man, there's certain. This is another great thing. We played this one producer manager just to jump on the phone, like paid to jump on the phone for half hour.
Yeah.
Good amount of money as well, like just for a quick call. And all they really said was, "Oh, make some loops." That's cool. That was the key. That's what we needed. That's the info we needed.
Sometimes it is that
well
simple,
worth
right?
it, man. We made a lot of money off that investment, Albeit we still had to go and execute everything. But
so that was what this was like before you were really taking the loop making.
I didn't know what loop making meant.
For real, yeah.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I literally didn't know anything. So that, and then I remember we went in this live that I think Figures made it. He'd just gone live, and he said something about just talking about this and that, and then just as an aside comment, he was like, "Oh yeah, like that's like what Internet Money did with the wave supply. Like everyone was using the loops, and they got this just in the middle of a conversational flow about other things." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's what they did, yeah? Loops." And then someone else already told me, "Oh, just make some loops and send it to my guys." I'm like, loops, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I still don't know the game or understand, but I've heard this make loops as proof it worked for them. Cool, let's do that.
Yeah.
Copy and paste. Like, why not?
Yeah, and it seems simple. Like the other day, there was this guy who makes he plays the piano, a bunch of instruments, and he wants to find a way to build his career around music. And I made the similar suggestion. I was like, I have a ton of clients that all they do at home is they love playing instruments, they record themselves, and they send it off to thousands of people. There's different ways you could do that. You could build an email list, you can build a content brand, you could start a YouTube channel, dissect things, but that is seems like that's the easiest way to make a living off of your career. Would you kind of co-sign that, maybe? Kind of?
I think it was definitely the easiest route in 3 years ago. Definitely. Now, maybe still, but I think it's harder now. But it's absolutely doable.
Because of saturation? Like there's just a lot
because
of
of
people,
saturation,
right?
more people. I mean, it was already even getting saturated a few years ago, but I think it's way more saturated.
Yeah.
And then also because of people not having trust on the business side. If they're locking in with someone, they don't know if it's going to ruin the play.
Yes.
So
with the loop makers, right?
Yeah,
I was just talking about with 8 right now. He was saying that he doesn't take loops from him, and this has been a common theme in this show. If you watch any episodes, this comes up a lot. It's like, the business that the loop makers might come in and then make a ridiculous ask, and it affects the industry producer, drum maker, whatever you want to call them's relationship with the artist, and then just the loop makers not understanding how it goes.
Well, that's one advantage if even for producers, if they work with us, is that we already have that reputation that we're good on the business, and we're not going to let our guys get ripped off as well, but also we're not going to ruin the play for everyone. We're going to just deal respectfully and make sure business gets done properly. So there's that trust is already attached. to whatever loops that has come through us. You know, it's good. It's good to go.
Yeah. How do you guys approach it? Like, are you kind of mostly a, you know, I guess loop making management company specifically? Do you guys like also do you finish beats a lot of times too and send them off?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of sessions as well.
Do all a lot of sessions and you finish everything. So you do everything. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
And we got different clients who focus and specialize on different kind of things. You know.
Yeah. Do you take a random loop? Or like, do you take loops from random people nowadays, or for the most part you try to just stay like in house with everything?
No, not from random people. If I know someone, cool. And also, I probably might have a conversation prior, because let's say, you know, just really, I would say if you've placed it, then you should be able to kind of mainly dictate terms as long as it's within fair bounds. Because this the other thing though. Sometimes I've had massive records with real big producers, and they say, yeah, even splits, cool. I've had tiny records with much smaller producers, and it's like a small advance, and they're like, oh, do you want 5%? I'm like, in that case, like, no, forget it.
Yeah.
Just don't use the shit. Please don't use the shit. Yeah. In that case, you know, if there's no money for anyone, and we're not all hobbyists here, like, but yeah, in any normal circumstance, it's, you know, just good business. Like, clear it, everyone's fair, everything's cool. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Harvey a lot of questions.
Yeah, he'll tell you all about that. Yeah. He's, you know, he's the
yeah. But so you said you do a lot of stuff in house, and you know, I look at a lot of management companies, and they represent 50 producers, like a shit ton of producers, and they promise, I guess, to get placements for other producers as well too, and that's like the main thing that they offer. But I think in my head, like, how can you possibly get all this producer's music placed? Like, in some way, every producer you sign is taking away opportunities from the ones that you already have signed, and you're a producer yourself as well too, obviously, right? So do you kind of look at it like in that way too, or like how do you kind of look at it?
I don't look at it like that, because I like to think of this sometimes. You've got abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. Now, think how many beats are in the world. Think how many loops are in the world. Think how many producers are in the world. How many artists, how many songs. So let's say if you had like 11 clients or 12. Well, that's still 11 people or 12, but there's actually a million people trying to do it. So it don't make no difference. You know what I mean? There's plenty. That's what you're actually comparing it off. It's not like we have this limited pool of opportunity and we have to split it among 11 people. Now we have to split it among 12. No, it's an unlimited pool of opportunity. And we've got more dope people. There's more dope shit we can help connect up. And, you know, as well, I think like a large part is like in terms of kind of guidance and like just being pushed in the right direction and having someone who's actually responsible to like really care about what you're doing as well. So I think that's a massive aspect, as well as just like, I think it's not that realistic to think, oh, I'm just going to sit there making beats and then someone's going to go and place everything for me. I don't see any big producers where that's what they do, is they just sit there chilling, they don't talk to anyone, and then they get a manager and that places all everything for them. It never is ever going to work. Yeah. But it can like boost what you're doing, and like, you know, maybe it might save you from wasting years of time just by tweaking what you're doing, and maybe might introduce you to certain key contacts that's then going to boost what you're doing, and might give you, enhance your reputation. It's lots of things, but it's not like if someone offers you a deal like, hey kid, you sit there and I'm going to place everything for you. Yeah. It's not real. It's not going to happen.
I love how many, like, I guess in some way it's like a disclaimer that you give in the content. It's like, yo, we have these opportunities and we're going to do our best to build you up, but we can't promise you anything, and you need to also put in the work too. Like, you guys talk about that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I feel like...
There's a lot of managers that don't do that. Like, I've seen so many, they reach out, they're like, oh, we'll help you. But it's like...
I mean, that's what we've always said, great music and great business. So we're not going to sit there lying. And also, it's relationship based. Yeah. So, like, you know, we're not going to try and, like, enforce people to do this or that. Or, like, it's not about that. It's about, we're here, we got your back. You're putting the work in. You know, we'll do everything we can to help you. And that's that. It's just a good relationship. And, you know, I think that's more important sometimes than paperwork or, you know, like, really, unless someone's trying to screw you, that's when you need paperwork. But if no one's trying to screw you, you need the relationship, you know, and you need the shared goal and the shared energy, and then, you know, you can kind of build together. Yeah. But that's more important than, you know, a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, you said success shared is success doubled, I think you said once.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's a beautiful thing.
There's no point. No point just sitting there and be like, you know, sit there all lonely with a lot of plaques. Like, for what?
Yeah.
You know, for what?
Yeah, especially you guys, because you guys just love people and you connect with people so organically. So it's like
Definitely.
I can tell that. What do you feel like is the most rewarding part of making music for you?
Everything.
Everything about
Everything.
it? Everything. Lifestyle, people, like
Great
place.
people.
Yeah.
Freedom. Being self-employed is wonderful. Full
Yeah.
stop.
Mm.
Yeah, and being able to help people out. You know, being able to put food on other people's plate. Being able to put food on your own plate.
Yeah.
Being able to create in the moment. Seeing stuff that you just did in some little random room even years ago, and then now it's look, it's on the radio. Like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, but again, it's just part of this big creative mass that we're kind of all among anyway. You know, even being here, we're just chopping it up on IG. Now we're here, like chopping it up in real life. Like it's beautiful.
Shit is crazy. This is beautiful, bro. You gave us an amazing episode. There's so much I want to talk about, but I gotta leave some questions for Harvey.
Hey, fire!
Yeah,
Let's
shout out
get
to
it.
Dog Music and everything that you guys are building.
Love, bro.
Yeah,
I
this is so
appreciate
much
you.
fun.
You know,
I appreciate you so much.
most
man.
definitely. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Thank you guys.
Hey, see ya.